Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Rate of Troy Radio. This is the Carcast after USC's heartbreaking 34-32 loss to the Fighting Illini of Illinois in a last-second 41-yard field goal from Keelan Crimmins. Slays the Trojans. Brutal loss. We're going to talk about it, give you our first reactions, and so much more. As always, you can follow us on social media at Rant of Troy. Email us, rantoftroyfansite.com, and our phone number, 818-643-7227. Suck it, What's Bruin Show. I'm your host, Michael Castillo, joined along with my co-host here in the Rant of Troy studio in Los Angeles, Alicia Artola.
Hello, everybody.
Hello. I'm already in the chat. Very frustrating. Yeah, to say the least. Alicia, you just want to go into your opening montage?
Monologue?
Why do I always do that?
I mean, it is a montage.
I don't know words.
I'll start by highlighting two of Jason's comments in the chat. The same people blaming the game on Lincoln Riley's clock management would be screaming if he got cute and USC failed to score. The real story of the game is in year 2 of Danton Lynn's defense. They got bullied all game except for 2 freaky fumble recoveries that stopped this from being a blowout. You and I are going to have a conversation later about the clock management. I will put my flag down right here and say that I think USC played the end of that game wrong. And I'll explain more about that why, because we're going to have a conversation about it. So aside from that, I think Jason is on the right track about the defense, because to me, this game is simply about the defense. I think that the offense clearly left a lot of points on the board. The offense will rue that fumble. They will rue that interception. They will rue, a couple plays that are the difference between putting up 40 or even 50 against this Illinois defense and settling for 32. But even aside from that fact, Jason is right. Illinois could have put up 40 or 50 in this game. Probably should have. Twice, not once, but twice, Illinois got literally to the goal line and fumbled what could have been the game away. That stroke of luck, those 2 strokes of luck, are the difference between USC losing this game on a last-second field goal and USC losing this game by 21 or 22. USC was lucky not to be down by 14 at the half, lucky not to be down by 21 by the next time they touched the ball. But they got lucky with that fumble at the goal line, and then they got lucky again with another fumble at the goal line, because let's be honest, Illinois took whatever it wanted offensively. And just like USC could have taken whatever they wanted offensively, but made some mistakes that kept them from scoring and getting their scoring up, Illinois did the same thing. Illinois was moving the ball at will, and it was only Illinois' faults that stopped Illinois from scoring 50 in this game. That's a problem, because this is not the best offense that USC will face this year. This is not the best deep offensive front that USC will face this year. This is not the best receiving core that USC will face this year. This is not the best running back core that USC will face this year. And it's not the best quarterback that USC will face this year. So USC has a problem on defense. They do. And I know it's hard to go into Illinois, travel east, play at 9 a.m. There were reasons why. Initially when the game time was announced, I said chalk this off as a loss. And then Indiana happened, Illinois, and USC, I sort of got caught up in my faith in Jaden Mayava, who ultimately did prove me right by leading a go-ahead drive in the end. I got caught up in sort of that optimism, but realistically, this was just a game that circumstances were against USC, and then USC put them even further against them. And the defense, it's not even like the defense made a handful of mistakes and gave up a busted coverage here or there, which honestly I would feel so much better about. The first 4 weeks of this season, we were talking about busted coverages and big plays and how frustrating it was that USC was giving them up. But at least you could say, well, you just fixed up a couple of plays and suddenly your defense is really good. The problem with this game is that this was not about a busted coverage or a missed tackle. There were a couple of those, but they dominated USC up front. They ran the ball and were getting 5, 6, 7 yards a carry every time. And in the end, that is what lost USC the game, because Illinois came out on that final drive and they ran the ball. Ran the ball, moved the ball, got into field goal range, kicked a field goal, and won. They didn't have to do anything special to win this game. They just ran their offense, and USC's defense had no answers for it. USC's defensive front got pushed around. USC's edges were taken out of the game. The secondary, depleted as it is in terms of injuries, was woeful. It's pretty bad when, like, maybe the best... there were 2 players in the secondary that I didn't feel had a terrible game, and that was Christian Pierce, who, if USC had won this game, we would be praising and talking about that shoestring tackle that he makes, and Kendarius Reddick, the true freshman safety who got thrown in as a nickel because Kevin Longstreet apparently got injured. And, Kamari Ramsey was out sick. So, I think this defense was depleted. I'm not going to argue that they weren't. The injuries have added up. Not having Kamari Ramsey on the field definitely hurts. But, the nickelback, the replacement true freshman nickelback, was not getting picked on in this game. And when they did throw his way, he did enough to force passes wide and wasn't giving up throws. It was guys who were competing for starting jobs at corner that were getting destroyed in this game. And it was guys in the middle of the defense who were getting destroyed in this game. And it was linebackers who were getting destroyed in this game, starting linebackers. So it's not a game I'm going to blame on injuries. It's not a game I'm going to blame on bad luck, because USC's defense got very lucky in this game, all things considered. It's not a game I'm going to blame on being on the road. It's not a game I'm going to blame on playing at 9 a.m. I'm going to blame this game on a defense that was not prepared to win this game. And the buck stops at Danton Lynn on that, because whatever game plan he came up with to stop this Illinois team was not effective in the slightest. The personnel decisions that were made in this game were not effective in the slightest. The players themselves on the field were not effective in the slightest. So every level of this defense, top to bottom, left to right, was a disaster. There's no other way to put it. There is simply no other way to put it. It was a disaster performance for USC's defense, who were lucky to give up 34 points. That's not going to cut it. When I made my 7-5 prediction in the offseason, it wasn't because I thought USC was going to have a 30-point defense. It was because I thought that USC's offense and USC's defense were both going to be mediocre enough to just not be exceptional in any direction. And USC's offense has been better than I expected, but still not elite, because they shoot themselves in the foot. And USC's defense has been considerably worse than I expected. Like, degrees worse than I expected. And I don't want to overreact to one game, to one loss. But this one loss was reflective of the things that were holding me back through 4 weeks, holding back my optimism, making me think, well, don't get ahead of ourselves. USC is 4-0, but there are some issues here that, if they're not fixed, they're going to become a problem. And one of those was the running lanes. Why do teams have so much room running the ball in between the tackles? That was a problem today. Why do teams have so much cushion throwing the ball? That was a problem today. Why is USC's middle linebacker getting swallowed up on every single play, can't get off a block to save his life? That was a problem today. So this didn't come out of nowhere. This performance wasn't a, wow, fluke performance. No, this was exactly what USC had been for 4 weeks, just against weaker competition, and sort of ended up enjoying a little bit more of the home field advantage, certainly against Michigan State. Take the home field advantage away, take the lesser opposition away, and this is the game that you got. This is the game I was worried about seeing. So I think if you're demoralized after this game, it's not because USC is not because you're overreacting to one loss in a season. I think if you're demoralized by this game the way I am, it's because this game is sort of the proof that none of us wanted to see, that this USC team doesn't really have it. And I think they're still going to win some games. I think there will certainly be times when Maeva is able to lift USC out of the muck and engineer a victory. But on the whole, I don't see a CFP team. I just don't. I would love for that to change, but that's where I'm at. If the hope was for USC to be competitive and in the playoff discussion, I'm putting the kibosh on that right now, because something has to change before Michigan if they want that to happen, and something certainly has to change before Notre Dame if they want that to happen. So,
yeah, Notre Dame looks like a matchup that's going to be absolutely brutal if the defense plays the way they did today. I see the game a little bit differently from you, sort of. I know there's a lot of stuff in the chat that like this is the same SC and all that stuff. I don't think it is. This is not the team from last year. They did not lose the way that they lost games last year. Last year was about SC not making the plays down the stretch to finish off games. This game, like, Eric Gentry saves the game with a forced fumble. Christian Pierce has a lot of metal to jump back and dive to create the play that Eric Gentry is able to do. Jade Maeva has 2 awful drives to start the third quarter. And I think that in a lot of ways, that's where SC lost the game offensively. And he throws a really bad interception that he never should have thrown the ball. On the following drive, he has Mekhi Lemon wide open in the middle of the field, completely airmails him. And those are 2 drives where if SC gets any points on those 2 drives, SC wins the game. But I think the main problem here was, yes, the issue was the defense, 100%. In the sense that, like, you're right. Like, there was a 49-point game for Illinois in this without changing much at all. 2 fumbles. One of them, I think he was down.
I was going to say, one of them we're not entirely sure was a fumble at all.
Yeah, and it is a fortunate call for SC, and it doesn't get overturned. And I think that's the right call not to overturn it, just given that we see the ball come out, but we never see when the ball starts to move. But that's a review thing.
Yeah.
SC gets very fortunate.
To be clear, I'm not disputing the review.
Yeah.
I think that the review process seemed to me to be the right one, but it is one of those ones where I couldn't tell you for certain that he fumbled that ball.
Yeah, no, I agree, which is why you don't overturn it. But, like, yes, SC is very fortunate not to have given up 50 points in this game, and that right there is a big worrying sign when you see teams like Notre Dame, who last I checked had like 56 points on the road at Arkansas on the schedule. And a Nebraska team that we know wants to throw the ball with Patrick Mahomes Jr. I guess Patrick Mahomes III. So, like, these are situations where like, it's frustrating because I think there was a lot of heart shown by SC to have all these things not go their way defensively that couldn't make a stop to save their life. Maeva throws the interception. There was a million reasons for this team to cave and feel boo-hoo about themselves and lose this game by 28 points. They didn't. They fought a lot. They got to the end. They go up. They do the thing that the metrics say to do, which is take the 2-point conversion early. They got it. They were in the lead. They did everything that they were supposed to do. They couldn't make stops. And they couldn't make stops outside of the tremendous, tag team effort with Pierce and Gentry to on that, long game. But that long game should have never happened in the first place, right? You shouldn't have to rely on turnovers at the goal line to save you. And that's what SC got in this game twice. And on the flip side on offense, I think the frustrating part is the 3 drives where SC does not score. There's 4 drives where SC does not score, right? First drive where they don't score is a fumble, the Wayman Jordan fumble. Can't do that. It's a self-inflicted wound. You're moving the ball, you fumble at the 30. That's a self-inflicted wound, right? The next time that they don't score is a turnover on downs on the same drive in which they have a long touchdown pass to Mekhi Lemon called back for an illegal man downfield penalty, one that we talked in the watch along.
Joke of a penalty.
It is a penalty.
Yes.
But at the same time, that's one of those things where it does not interfere with the play. I feel like the rule needs to be changed, if anything. My issue isn't that it was called per se, because I do think it's weird to be just don't call it in that moment. But it's an annoying penalty, right? But SC scores on that drive, and then they don't. Then they come down, and Mayava misses on 4th down, throws it at the receiver's ankles, right? In the third quarter, it's the really bad interception, followed by the drive in which he misses a wide open Mekhi Lemon. And then, was it Lemon again on the corner route on 3rd down? Either way, he missed 2 guys.
Yeah, it was Lemon again.
Open.
Yeah.
And he misses. But yet the offense worked, right? The offense was working. The scheme was working. The guys were open. They were, when Mekhi Lemon was getting the ball, he made tremendous catches even when he wasn't open, right? So, I think in a lot of ways you can look at this and say, SC's lucky not to score 50, but also they should have scored 50 themselves. And I think the biggest issue is the lack of synchronicity between the offense and the defense. When one side of the ball is not doing something, you need the other side to step up. And the offense and defense sort of did that in the 4th quarter to create the comeback. Absolutely. But there were times when the defense was getting stops at the beginning of the 3rd quarter. 2 drives in which Illinois doesn't score touchdowns. And SC's response to those 2 drives are 0 points. So, in a game where everything has gone to hell defensively, when you do get the stops, you have to take advantage of that. And if you don't do it until so far late in the game, you're going to put yourself at a spot where, you're going to be susceptible to losing on a game-winning field goal, right? You want to talk about the time management thing? Because there's a million messages in the chat about the time management.
I feel like that's the talking point coming out of the game.
I think it's a lame talking point.
Okay, do you want to start with?
Sure.
Yeah, go for it.
I thought the time management in the 2-minute drill, going up until the touchdown, was flawless. I thought it was great that they did not call a timeout. That they did not run a play before the 2-minute warning. Wayman Jordan on a gain of 13 gets tackled with 2:37 to go, and they didn't take a play. They didn't give Illinois 4 timeouts. They took the time all the way down the 2-minute warning. I think that's what you're supposed to do. That clock was running the entire drive. They go 80 yards in 4 minutes and 26 seconds. The issue is that they end up scoring a touchdown with $1:55 on the clock right out of that 2-minute warning. And I know, yes, I agree. SC scored too quick, and I think that we all sort of expected Illinois to move the ball right down the field. At the same time, I know that everybody wants, Lincoln Riley to just hand the ball off, 3-4 plays, have them burn their touchdowns, and then walk into the end zone as time expires. But, like, you also have to score the touchdown. You also have to make Illinois move down the field. Like, they got one-on-one on Mekhi Lemon. They took the chance. They got the touchdown. Like, you have to still score there. I just think I think somebody in the chat at the very beginning, was it Jason, that said, if Lincoln Riley got cute, Nessie failed to score, people would be livid. And like, yes, yeah. Like the thing that I don't like about clock management is like, it is one of those things that is fully determined on results bias, right? Like whatever happens, you are an idiot if it doesn't go your way, and you're a genius if it does. And it's like, all of these things are percentages. They're all percentages. You're playing the percentages. You also need to still score points on that last drive. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I would rather they go out and score the points and then have to hope the defense makes the play rather than not scoring on that drive, period.
I think that...
And obviously those aren't the two only answers.
No, but that's my problem. That's my problem with this whole discussion, is that there's like these two sides that are acting as though you run the clock... running the clock doesn't equal also scoring a touchdown. Because USC was running the ball in this game fine. USC was capable of running the ball.
Wayman Jordan ran for 13 yards the play before.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think the argument about the time management is, why are you calling a play and taking a shot into the end zone?
Yeah.
And by the way, it wasn't like a wide open just, you had to go there because he was wide open and what else you're going to do.
Well, he got one-on-one.
He was covered one-on-one and he had to make a really good catch. You took a shot into the end zone.
Right.
I don't think you should have taken a shot into the end zone. It's not saying that you should have, shut up shop and not tried to gain any more yards or anything like that. Mm-hmm. You could have just run the ball. You could have run one of those little screens or whatever. You could have done shorter plays that had been working for you all game.
Yeah.
And continued to methodically march down the field.
I agree.
USC had done this literally the drive where they brought in Hassan Longstreet. Like, it was that same thing where you just methodically drive down the field. You don't need to take a shot into the end zone there, because realistically, based on everything else we've seen in this game, if you just keep doing your methodical plays, you will get down there and then you will have an opportunity to score. Right. And my issue there is, again, don't take the shot play until you've forced them to take a timeout or two. Don't take the shot play until you're in a position where you have exhausted your options and now it's touchdown or bust. Because realistically, it's not even, you have 4 downs on every single, on every set of downs that you're going to be able to use.
Yeah.
You can slow it down, you can be methodical, and you can still score. Like, there's nothing if USC hands the ball off there on that first carry and Wayman Jordan gets free and scores on a 16-yard run, then it's the same outcome. But I think that it's more like of okay, so you ran and you happened to score, and there was not really, like you and I were talking during the game. You're not going to stop at the goal line in that case, Yeah.
You could. You absolutely could.
Yeah. Yes, but you're probably not. But
if we're playing a video game,
if it's
you and I probably stop.
Well, if you need a field goal, then you stop. But
this isn't a video game.
Yes, this isn't a video game. It's the shot to the end zone that I think is the biggest issue, because the only way. So here's the thing: if that play succeeds, it's a touchdown. Yeah. If that play doesn't succeed, you've stopped the clock. So like either way, that play is a problem in my view.
I hear you.
And by not putting them in a position, like I said this on the watch along. USC needed to thread the needle. And yes, it was going to be difficult, but we all knew, I was saying this before the 2-minute warning, that USC needed to thread the needle. They could not give Illinois the ball back with more than a minute and a half on the clock. Because if they did that, it was game over essentially. And so threading the needle involved having your cake and eating it too. Having your cake, scoring, and eating it too, draining all that clock. So I am totally understanding of the concept of you just got to score. Like, you can't give up your chance to score.
It's not that you just got to score. I just like you can't do all those things and risk the chance of also not scoring either.
Right,
like,
but I don't think there was a risk of not scoring. There was a first down, 1st and 10 from the 16-yard line after the 2-minute warning.
Do you feel better? Do you honestly feel better if Wayman Jordan runs for 4 yards? Just be conservative, 4 yards.
Yeah.
And now you have 2nd and 10 from the 12-yard line. Sorry, 2nd and 6 from the 12-yard line.
Mm-hmm.
And if 2nd and 12 for the 12-yard line, they've taken a timeout. So now there's $1:55 to go. They have 2 timeouts. And then you throw to the end zone there.
No.
Did the game drastically change? I don't think it did. Because the other thing is they have 3 timeouts.
But I'm not saying I'm not saying take the shot play on 2nd down. I'm saying run the ball again on 2nd down.
No, but what I'm saying is
take the shot play on 3rd down if you're in that situation, or take the shot play on 4th down if you're in that situation.
Yes.
What I'm saying is you have an opportunity. You have 2. Yes, you want to score a touchdown, but realistically, you have 4 downs. 2 of those, your goal should be killing clock or killing timeouts.
Yeah,
because the other 2, you're real. Given USC's success offensively in the game, realistically, you can get the first down you need or the touchdown you need in those 2 plays.
I just think it's a little rich when everybody's here and bitched about how slow Lincoln Riley went a year ago. And now, now he went too fast. And like,
because
all
it's
of these things,
completely different situations.
But all of these things always end up with it's way easier to say it after the thing.
Yes, but obviously, I was saying it before
we were
the
saying
thing.
It, yes.
We were literally saying it before the thing.
No, I agree. We were saying it at the time. That's not what I'm saying. I guess what I'm saying is that's not the reason SC lost the game. SC lost the game because the defense could not get a stop.
Well, yes, and this is where my mitigation for all of that would be: do not trust a defense that hasn't earned your trust. Which is to say, you are better off killing the clock down to 30 seconds and failing to score a touchdown.
Yeah.
I would rather be in a situation, I would rather lose this game by USC's offense killing clock, getting down, and failing to score the touchdown than scoring and letting the defense letting that happen to the defense.
You are jumping on the Carcast and you're angry at that too.
Either way,
SC lost the game.
Of course, but
you know what I mean?
Either way, everyone's mad because USC lost the game. I'm just saying that, I do think it was a misplay. Do I think it's the reason USC lost the game? No, but it could have been a way that USC could have won the game. Yeah. USC had a chance to win the game, and that chance went away in part because the decision to put scoring above scoring and running clock, which is a decision, and that's fine. And if it works out, if the defense gets a stop, then this isn't a conversation anybody's having. But the defense didn't get the stop, and we all saw that coming. So that's my problem is we knew that the defense wasn't going to get the stop, and the only thing that was going to help the defense potentially was because they had all their timeouts. Illinois was able to run the ball rather comfortably. And I don't know that they would have been able to do that if they'd had to burn timeouts and, move. I think their play calling at the end would have been very different. Would USC still have lost? It's entirely possible because the secondary wasn't going to stop the passing plays either. But it's still a situation where I think that in order to win this game, there was only one way to do it, and it was by burning clock and scoring a touchdown. So if people are critical of failing to do one of those 2 things, I think it's a perfectly fair thing to be critical of. Because that was the window to win the game, and USC missed that window.
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not a fair thing to be critical of, but it's just that's not why SC lost the game. SC lost the game because they couldn't get a stop on defense, and not just in that moment because they did force the 2 turnovers at the goal line, but the problem was all of the room that Altmaier had to throw over the middle. These were things that we talked about 2 weeks ago with Ryan Brown at Purdue on 3rd downs, right? Ryan Brown was 7 of 8 over the middle of the field from, 4 to 15 yards or whatever it was. And that's essentially what happened in this game. Every time that they would need to throw over the middle on a slant, on a 3rd and 6, they were getting it. And when you give them that much ability to move the ball down the field, you got to get a stop. And there's a lot of criticism in the chat about Danton Lynn. Absolutely, I think it's warranted. A lot of people wanting a tarmac situation. I think that's a little extreme. This was the worst defensive performance of the Danton Lynn era, full stop, not even a question there. I think it'd be easier to point to the issues with the injuries if these weren't the same lapses in the pass defense that you saw against Purdue, right? Because Georgia Southern, Missouri State, Michigan State, they had big passing plays, but it was big passing plays that were outliers to every other play in which the defense basically won, right? That wasn't the case in this one. If you're going win-loss on every single play and you're looking at it, SC's defense won very few plays in this game. And you're not going to win a lot of games on the road doing that. You need your offense to be perfect. And then the flip side is when your offense doesn't take advantage of 2 drives where the defense gets the stop, you can't expect your defense to be perfect either. You need to figure something out and work in harmony better and back each other up. And isn't that something that we talked about last season too? In some of those losses, that was really frustrating. It was the same thing. It was when USC's defense needed the offense to step up. It felt like too often the offense simply didn't step up. And when USC's offense got the score and needed the defense to step up, the defense the timing wasn't aligned. And that is an issue. And that is why, I think it's completely, I would put the bulk of the blame for this game on the defense, but you can't ignore the fault of the offense here as well. The offense could have won this game. Yeah.
They had plenty of opportunities to go win this game, and they didn't.
The offense could have won the game. At the same point, would you feel better about SC's chances going forward defensively if the offense still wins the game? No. I do think that, where I said that this team isn't like last year is that they fought. This game had gone to, was absolutely... Well, is it not like
last year's team fought too?
Not against Maryland.
I have
they fought a little bit against Washington. Mind.
I don't remember that game.
I'm saying when things got weird in the fourth quarter, they didn't make the play. They made the plays today in the fourth quarter when they needed to.
Yeah.
Until the last drive, they didn't. And even the 2 defensive plays that they made before that last drive, one of them was one where they gave up 50 yards on it or whatever. Well, I was going to say,
maybe USC would have been better off in the end, giving up a big play and letting Illinois get down to the goal line, and then something good. Maybe USC would have found a way.
That was the key.
Does the kicker kicking from the goal line miss the kick more likely than the 44 yards that he hit? It felt like it today.
Yeah. Kenny says last year's team fought. They did fight. I guess what I'm saying is, that
was one thing we praised that team about, is that they didn't really give up.
They didn't really. I guess what I'm saying is
they did blow leads though. So
they blew leads. This wasn't a blowing of a lead. This was a situation where they sort of dug their own hole. I do think it'd be so much easier to sit here and say, yes, this was the 9 a.m. thing. Yes, this was traveling across the country. Yes, this was the injuries. It's just one tough game on the road. This was always the game in the offseason that you pointed to as this could be absolutely a potential loss and all those things. That would be way easier to point to. Again, if Purdue didn't move the ball up and down the field plenty, if the run game, the rush defense didn't show signs of this on certain drives against Michigan State and against even Georgia Southern. You know what I mean?
Even Missouri State was finding rushing lanes.
Right.
That's been an issue from the get-go.
Yeah. I guess my other thought here before we get to a couple super chats that we have that I've been meaning to get to, is I know there's a lot of, comments in the chat, everything we're destined for 7-5. We'll be lucky if they're 6-6, all that kind of stuff. I understand. I get it. Completely understand. I guess for me, like, I don't know that this game disproves my season prediction at the beginning of the year of 8-4. Like, I don't think that changes that. Does it absolutely limit the ability to get into the playoff? Yes, thoroughly. Yes. Like, a week ago, I was feeling much better about SC's chances to have a puncher's chance going into South Bend, and right now I don't feel that way. I know that you're worried about Michigan, but like Michigan is a completely different thing here.
The four game losing streak is back on the table.
It is, yeah.
Because realistically, like the road games, you got to just mark them off now, because your offense isn't going to play well enough to get you out of what your defense is going to give up in those games. Let's just be honest. Yeah. So then the only way you avoid the 4-game losing streak is Michigan, and quite frankly, unless Michigan comes to the Coliseum and is dealing with the West Coast travel situation and maybe a time thing, which I don't think will be the case, but whatever it is, unless they are really off of their game, USC is going to have to rely on Michigan being off their game in order to win this game. If the defense that showed up in this game shows up in that game,
I hear you. I just think that like some of the I have enough depressing things going on in life.
Yes,
to like be so dour about like this is still a team that absolutely could just outscore everybody.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. No, I mean, like, they put up 490 yards. Like they were moving the ball. Like this offense is still rather good. Yeah. The turnover bug bit them today, and that cost them in a distinct way. But like, I don't think it's a coincidence that in the 2 road games that they've played, this offense that we know can put up 50 and more is limited to 33 and 32. Like this offense on the road is a 35-point offense. At home, it's probably a 45-point offense. I don't know if that will be the case against Michigan's defense, but we will find out.
We're overdue for the super chat, so we got to get to those. Sorry, but I'm going to look this up. Last year, because it's a full data point. What do you think? So SC has scored 33 and 32 points on the road. Mm-hmm. Where do you think that ranks? That's 32.5 points. Mm-hmm. Where do you think that ranks in scoring offense on the road from last season?
Nationally?
Yes.
Probably pretty high. Like 25. No,
it would be tied. It would be, I guess, technically 12th. Because 12th was Indiana at 32.4. The 9th was a 3-way tie at 32.8. I guess what I'm saying is like...
Well, I guess what I'm saying is this offense isn't going to put up 30 points against Notre Dame's defense on the road. And they're probably not going to do that against Nebraska's defense on the road.
Sure, but the fact that like you're pointing to that being the... like, make a stop. You know what I mean?
Well, I don't believe in this defense to be able to make a stop anymore.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying, like,
remember the
offense.
The ladder.
The offense has scored plenty enough to win, even with the frustrating stops.
That's my point, though, is that the ladder that USC has been following is still laddering. You know, like this was not a good defense USC was playing today.
Right. No, I agree.
So
but
being limited to 32 points, like good defenses are going to have more success against this offense. It's going to make it much harder for this offense.
Sure. Yeah.
So I don't think you can expect this offense to even replicate the 33 points and 32 points of Purdue and Illinois when they get to Notre Dame. And I don't know about what Nebraska's defense will be there, but Illinois' defense, Iowa's defense will certainly be interesting to go up against.
I was listening to the Solid Verbal last week, and Ty was just going on this whole thing about how they need to fire Chris Ash as defensive coordinator, that their defense isn't going to stop anybody and all this stuff. And then, I think everyone has the tunnel vision of like, well, my team sucks. And so my team sucks. And so they will lose every single game possible. And it's like, everybody thinks that about their own team. Everybody thinks that about their own team.
Well, yeah, they're saying that because they gave up 30 to Michigan at home, which is not that much to Michigan at home.
Wait, you're talking about who? Nebraska?
No, sorry, Nebraska lost to Michigan 30 to 27.
Yeah.
And yeah, you don't want to give up 30 to Michigan, but like...
Yeah, we're overdue for Super Chats. Let's get to the old Super Chats. If I press the button, where is it? There it is. All right, first one we got was from...
I have them if you want me to...
It was from Jeff. Please don't tell me Indiana would put 50 on us. Given the way SC played today, absolutely, 1,000%, yes.
Well, Indiana might not fumble at the goal line twice. Like,
right. Like,
I don't think
that's the thing. Like, Indiana doesn't have to play better than Illinois did.
No.
To score 50 points. Just don't fumble the ball twice.
34 points flatters USC's defense.
Yeah. You add 14 points here, it's 48. And that's with Illinois having to settle for a field goal.
As Joe in the chat says, Oregon must be licking their chops. Yeah, it's not Indiana.
When you look at SC's defense, absolutely. Yes, I do think that every other team is watching SC's offense and crapping themselves at the same time. Like, this in a lot of ways just feels like 2012 to me. It feels like 2012. SC is going to win game, and I think that's an indictment on Danton Lynn, because that 2012 defense was atrocious under Alex Grinch, and this defense should never be in that situation. And while I'm sympathetic about some of the injuries, Kamari Ramsey didn't play in this game, but like that Kamari Ramsey has had to play nickel, even if he would have played in this game, I think so much of the same stuff would have happened. I'm sympathetic to a lot of the stuff, but like this was an Illinois team that gave up 7 sacks last week and was one of the worst offensive lines in the country. SC didn't need to put up 7 sacks to like wet your whistle. You know what I mean?
They needed to get some pressure at least. They didn't get it.
Yeah.
It's not about, we've talked in the past, getting sacks is not the end all be all. Pressure doesn't, you can get a lot of really disruptive pressure and not log any sacks. The problem is USC logged 1 sack. It was a corner blitz and they didn't get pressure at any other point in the game.
Yes.
So.
Yes, 1,000%. Yes, 1,000%. So yeah, Indiana would absolutely drop 50 on SC, especially if the defense played it the way that they did today. Tim and Eli says with the super chat, love you guys. Thank you for keeping me sane. Faith's richer, bitchier sister crushes me again. Still fight on.
Fight on, Tim.
Cheers, Tim, as always. Yeah.
Yep. I got caught by the Hope Monster too, Tim. I got caught.
I thought I was out. They pulled me back in.
Just reverse that. Once I thought I was in, they pulled me back out. Yeah. So there you go. But this is why, there's always something to believe in when you go over to Underdog Fantasy. Alicia, let's talk about Underdog Fantasy because I have been playing Underdog Fantasy. I thoroughly enjoy it. It's my favorite daily fantasy app. I went into this game and I saw that Makai Lemon was higher or lower than 6.5 receptions, and I smashed the higher button. Just smashed it. And you can do that too on games tomorrow in the NFL, next week, and so on and so forth. Pick and choose from different sports, different leagues. You just use your ball knowledge whether a team will go higher or lower than the stat projections. And you can win up to 1,000 times your money over at Underdog Fantasy. Download the app today. Use the promo code Reign of Troy to score $50 in bonus funds when you play your first $5. That's promo code Reign of Troy. Millions of fans have already won billions making picks. On Underdog, will you be next? Underdog, make picks, win money. Must be 18 plus, 19 plus in Alabama and Nebraska, 19 plus in Colorado for some games, 21 plus in Arizona, Massachusetts, and Virginia, and present in a state where Underdog Fantasy operates. Terms apply. See assets.underdogfantasy.com/web/play and get terms_DFS_.html for details. Offer not valid in Maryland, Michigan, Ohio, New Jersey, and Pennsylvania. Concerned with your play, call 1-800-GAMBLER. Visit ncpgambling.org. In New York, call the 24/7 HOPE line at 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY, which is 467-369. Alicia, where do we go from here?
Well, Kenny said, Alicia, you were right to stay pessimistic, and I hope at least you feel satisfaction that the people complaining about that were completely wrong. And Boy Meets Taco said, I've been defending SC all week just to hear I told you so from everyone. I'm not going to say I told you so because I picked USC to win this game, so you know I didn't stay pessimistic. But I do want to point out that just like this is why I was saying the things that I was saying in the first 4 weeks. Because those things were real. I didn't want them to be real. I didn't want those concerns to be real. But let's be honest, those concerns turned out to be real. Every single one of them peeked their heads out in this game, and it resulted in a loss. So, again, like I don't want to be quote unquote negative. I don't want to not be having fun watching this team.
Yeah.
But the reality is that this team is flawed, and those flaws are pretty obvious if you look for them. And you don't have to be looking for them with like a microscope. You can just be watching critically at times and see where the positive realities are and where the negative realities are. And unfortunately, like I thought that the defensive front was a positive reality, and somebody else in the chat called it a bait and switch. Well, yeah, it feels that way.
Yeah, like it would be. You and I were talking the watch along. Like this defensive performance, like giving up 34 points, most likely was always going to be brutal to watch, right? But I think like it would be one thing if they were getting beat in the back end because they were too aggressive up front and they just weren't getting home or something. Like it was the blanket, the too small blanket thing, right? Where like they decided that they were going to do everything to get after Altmaier and stop the run. And, you know, Altmaier made plays and beat them downfield anyways. Like that would be one thing. It would also be another thing if they, you know, made plays with the pass rush in general. But it was just a lack of everything. Like the pass rush didn't get home. The secondary was a sieve. The linebackers, save for Eric Gentry putting on his Superman cape for the play that, you know, nearly won SC the game with the punch out, like was just not there. No, like they I don't think there was anything redeeming about this defensive performance outside of Christian Pierce running 50 yards downfield to not give up and make a shoestring tackle, and then Eric Gentry punching the ball out on the next play. There was nothing else redeeming about this defensive performance. Nothing. Like, you can't even pick out, like, a player of the game. Like, who's the player of the game on defense? Is it Christian Pierce? It might be.
For me, it's Christian Pierce because he was the only one that didn't have me wanting to pull my hair out.
Yeah, like
this is my thing. Like I thought Christian Pierce was there cleaning up run plays.
Mm-hmm.
He was, I think he was making as many run stops as any of the linebackers were, which is a problem. You don't want your safety being your primary tackler. Who did lead USC in tackling today?
I'm gonna guess it was
Desmond Stevens.
It was Desmond Stevens? Okay.
9 total, 4 solo.
Yeah. I think the biggest indictment on this, like the 34 points is bad, but like, again, the 34 points, if anything, is good for SC's defense considering they could have given up 50 or 60 in this game. Like it could have been the 34 could have been so much worse, right? Just 2 tackles for loss. DeCarlos Nicholson gets the sack. And then Braylon Conley got a tackle for loss, which means nobody in the front 7 got a single tackle for loss in this game.
They were giving up 2-3 yards.
SC was the best team in the country in tackles for loss per game. Like
but they were getting pushed around by this front.
It
wasn't just that run lanes were opening up; it's that there was nobody near near the running back until he was 3 yards down the field.
Yeah.
It was every single play. I mean, line yards in this game would be pretty high if that stat still existed. So, you're not going to win games giving up that kind of kind of push in the front seven. And what's I think really frustrating is that we thought that USC had helped solve this problem by bringing in big 350-pound linemen to fill those gaps. And yet for the majority of this game, USC's defensive front includes Devin Tompkins, who is still an undersized DT in my view, and Jakeem Stewart, who is an undersized DT at this stage because he's a defensive end, technically.
Yeah.
So that lineup was just not conducive to stopping, to preventing that push. They continued, despite the run success that Illinois was having, to continue to have the stand-up edges, which were getting bodied in the run game and opening up running lanes. And they have, linebackers that get met 4 yards down the field by an offensive lineman and pushed out of the play consistently. So,
Can we talk about success rate?
Yes.
What do you think it was?
For Illinois?
For the offense. All told. Illinois offense. Their entire offensive success rate.
60%.
That's what I was thinking. It was 42.
Okay.
Which, I'm kind of surprised it was only 42.
Yeah.
Rushing success rate, though, was 56. 56% is insane. Absolutely insane. You
against
cannot...
a run defense that was supposed to be better this year.
Yeah.
And that's, I think, what's so disappointing.
Yeah.
Again, it's the the DJ Harvey, the corner transfer that USC brings in has been a disaster. Again USC brings in big defensive line transfers and they seem to be just not trusted or not capable or whatever it is. Like Keyshawn Silver and Jaw Jarrett are sort of in the wind, playing as much as Kobe Pepe at this point. I don't really understand. And I've always said the personnel stuff is like there's stuff that we're not seeing that is deciding who's playing and who's not.
Yeah.
Like I'm not trying to be critical on that front, but I do have to wonder, like, if you are getting slashed through the middle and you can't get any push up front, why are you persisting with the undersized defensive tackles? Because I feel like that's got something to do with it.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
I give the front some grace strictly because we've seen them be very productive through the first 4 games.
Well, and I'll say like Cam says Desmond Stevens is usually making tackles 10 yards downfield. Like that's a problem that the front doesn't have control over.
Yeah. I guess the issue here is like nobody made plays, right?
No.
And like I said, like in the Purdue game, they gave up, a lot of curls and sticks and slants and all those kind of things. And they still made 10 tackles for loss in that game. They gave up all those things and had 2 today. And both were by guys in the secondary. So it's like, I don't understand where the front went awry here when this was the matchup that was built for them, when they were one of the best in the country through the first. And I know that like you can say that like, yes, it was inferior competition. Absolutely. But given the way they were making the negative plays, it was a big step forward considering like this was a team that didn't make negative plays last year against whoever they were playing. You know what I mean? So it's the whole defensive thing is super disappointing. And you hope that they can get Kamari Ramsey back. He was just sick, right? So like he should be back.
Food poisoning, Riley said.
So you hope you can get him back, obviously. And then if you can get one of those corners, Alex Graham back, and then move them to play them at nickel and move Kamari Ramsey back to safety, I think you feel a lot better about stuff. But like, yeah, DJ Harvey not being the guy that you needed him to be is That hurts.
Well, there was a question in the chat, and I'm sorry I don't remember who said it, but they were asking about how much better can the defense get when Alex Brown and
Alex Graham
and Prophet Brown get back from injury, and the answer is realistically, if you are pinning we talked about this on the show. If you are pinning all of your hopes and dreams on a true freshman nickel who hasn't played a snap in a month, and has never played live snaps in college, or Prophet Brown, who I think we would probably be a better option than USC currently has at nickel, but is certainly not this isn't Jalen Smith we're talking about plugging in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'm not sure that they are the Band-Aids that USC needs defensively.
Yeah. No, I agree. Also, there were comments in the chat about rankings. Make sure that SC's not ranked next week, or we shouldn't have been ranked. If we weren't ranked, we wouldn't have been big-headed and all this kind of, which is, can we just stop talking about rankings? Like, I understand. I enjoy rankings too. I like talking about ranked matchups and all that stuff. But can we just understand that, like, they have no place anymore in college football in terms of, like, factoring in with a lot of things right now? So, like,
USC didn't lose this game because they were ranked over Illinois.
And if they beat Michigan, guess what? They're going to be ranked again.
Mm-hmm.
If you win games, you get ranked. If you don't win games, you don't get ranked.
Yes.
You want to be ranked? Win games. You don't want to be ranked? Well, if you win games, I'm sorry. You're going to get, I don't know.
Again, that's not.
Yeah.
That's not the reason today happened.
Yeah, absolutely. Any other thoughts on your mind? I feel like this has been a short Carcast. We've only gone 57 minutes.
Joshua says, I hate when this shit happens because all it ever does is validate Alicia's negativity. I wanted this win for more optimistic Alicia moments. Me too. Me too. You guys think I like being pessimistic, Alicia? I don't. I like it so much more when I'm wrong, when I'm pessimistic. I love to be proven wrong when I think that USC is going to, when I predict bad things for USC.
I am bummed that we did not play a call on Wednesday that we got on Wednesday, which we will play on Monday. We will play on Monday. Great call. We got it Wednesday, and in putting together the rundown and everything, we didn't add it to the rundown, but we should have. It's a call about you being negative, so I think it could still work. But, like, it's a great call that gives some, like, perspective on, like, expectations around, like, our formative years, which is something that I've talked about forever.
Yeah, you and I have talked about that a bunch.
Yeah, and so, like, I think that it'd be an interesting listen, especially in hindsight of the Illinois loss. But, like, yeah, like, one of my I said it earlier, like, there's enough absolute god-awful things happening in the world, especially right now. The last thing I want to do is get on here during a Carcast and talk about how, like, awful SC's defense is, right? Like, me being proven wrong about Jaden Mayava this season has been great.
I've loved it.
Yeah, if one of us has some sort of, pessimistic thought on something, I think both of us are very eager to be proven wrong about those things, right? Like, nobody wants to be right about anything.
That's the problem. Some people.
Well, sure. Some people
make pessimistic predictions and then are very invested in them becoming truth.
Yeah.
I am the opposite. I make pessimistic predictions hoping that there's a bit of, like, reverse psychology that happens that maybe I can always be wrong. If I'm pessimistic and I'm always wrong, then that would be beautiful.
Yeah.
Jeff said, come on, this is not group therapy. No, literally that's what a Carcast is, Jeff. The Carcast is group therapy.
Yeah,
That's what this is for. So yeah, the group therapy is this. The season isn't over.
Yeah.
USC has some serious issues that they need to tend to. They have a bye week to tend to them. They have a bye week to get healthy. Yeah, and we will see what USC comes out on the other side.
Worst case scenario, first of all, please put your thoughts in the RoT meter. The link is in the doobly-doo on YouTube.
I got a tweet,
show notes.
I got a tweet from somebody saying, "Is the RoT meter have negative values?"
Let me see. No one's put in their thoughts yet in the RoT meter. Click the link, folks. Click the link. Click the link in the RoT meter and put your zeros and ones in there if that's where you are. I will say this. Worst case scenario that comes out of this is like this just is what the defense is, and there's nothing gonna fix it. Like they are Alex Grinch bad. And if that's the case, then it all comes down to whether or not the offense is going to be perfect. And if they're going to be perfect, you could have a 2022 kind of year, but they need to be perfect in order for that to happen. The best case scenario is you lost to a ranked team in a last-second field goal by 2 points on the road at 9 a.m.
Mm-hmm. It's not. It's a loss that can vary, especially when you consider Kamari Ramsey, Elijah Page, half of Jacoby Lane.
Yes.
If USC goes on to win a bunch of games this season, this loss will be very easy to explain away.
Yes.
Very easy.
The
but you
problem
gotta go
is,
on and win those games.
Yes.
And right now, the USC I'm seeing is not a team that can go out and win those games.
Right. And the fact is, there is nothing about this game that says that the issue was specifically 9 a.m. and all those kind of things, right? More so, I'm just saying that like college football is weird. Winning games on the road, hard. Mm-hmm. The problem is SC has made such a trend of it. You can't just say, these are just 21-year-olds playing a sport that's chaotic.
But that's why we love it.
Yeah.
Here's an update. In case you thought things were bad being a USC fan, here's a score update from Chicago. UCLA 3, Northwestern 17 at halftime.
Remember, we talked about it. If UCLA starts 4-0, the What's Bruin show will no longer exist.
Yeah.
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 So this could have been our last Suck at What's Bruin show.
That's sad.
It is.
I don't want the What's Bruin show to go away.
I can't believe that.
But all we're saying is that like 0-12 is on USC losing the next 4 is on the table. 0-12 UCLA is on the table.
Yeah.
Because yikes, that schedule is not pleasant.
All right, let's for old time's sake, potentially. Don't want to get ahead of anything, but you can call into the Rant Line right now. 818-643-7227. Suck at What's Bruin show. Feels good. I hope that we can continue that going later. All right. We will be back Monday. We know you have a lot of thoughts, so hit us in the comments. Tell us why we're wrong and dumb or whatever you want to say. Give us your thoughts. Where does SC go from here? How do you feel about how they could rebound? Click into the links, the show notes, the doobly-doo, whatever. Hit the RoT meter, link, go vote, go a vote to evict in the RoT meter. And so, all right, I think we're going to wrap it up there. Any final thoughts?
My final thought is that transference failed me today, and I don't know what that means.
So. You think this loss sucked? Whew.
I experienced 2 losses where the game was decided in the final, 15 seconds of play. So, yes, today has been rough for me.
Chelsea was up 1-0. Got a red card for the second league game in a row. then proceeded to lose 3-1. So
Liverpool
Feel
and
bad for
USC
me.
were very mirror image today because Liverpool was playing terribly, managed to squeak out the game tying goal late in the game, and then blew it at the end. So, I don't know what to do with that.
I will say, as much as I don't like the 9 a.m. start because I had to wake up early, it is nice that we are done with the Carcast and it's 2:15.
Yeah,
That's kinda cool.
It's less nice that I will be working for the next 8 hours. So
I am about to.
you're home free. So
I'm going to go to bed.
congratulations.
Yeah. So, all right. We'll be back later, Monday. Until then, we will see you.
See ya.
See ya.